This podcast is for the daydreamers who like imagining new lives and new beginnings but don't quite know where to start. Hi, it's Julian from Rappler and you're listening to Teach Me Senpai. This is episode 6. How does one go about making money out of selling used items? Well, our guests from Season Pass has some answers for us. Season Pass is a popular vintage clothing store in Quezon City. But unlike conventional ukay, the owners of the shop curate each piece that they sell, specializing in vintage and highly collectible items. They also run community flea markets and recently held their third big event, the Good Old Days in Metro Tent at Pasig City. Season Pass is a small shop tucked in the corner of Paginhawa Street, but don't be fooled by the size of their storefront. Their influence in the world of vintage fashion is far-reaching. Today, we are joined by two of the owners, Leanne Torres and Red Madiaga. Hi, Leanne, Red. Thank you so much for coming to the studio.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So I described in my own words what I think Season Pass is, what I've read through online posts, what I've seen on your social media. But in your own definition, like how would you describe Season Pass?
I guess Season Pass is somewhat yung parang a helping guide sa mga taong gustong to dress up and stuff. So anyone can nang punta sa store, magpatulong and stuff. Parang kuya na marunong manamit. So parang sa akin yun yung ano namin, yung parang role namin sa Season Pass.
Yeah, it's a store for the community. A space that hopes to provide like parang an open space where you can discuss vintage and like anything lifestyle and clothes and anything that anyone likes really. So yeah.
I like that idea na it's very for the community and very, I guess, friendly, approachable, familiar. Like hindi kayo just a store, you're embedded into the community. And yung community nyo, what I really like about it is how expansive it has become. So hindi lang siya in Quezon City, di ba? You have communities online. You have a lot of followers, people who look forward to your events. But before we go through all of those, so I wanted to ask how Season Pass began. Because I understand na it wasn't, there was a time na you guys did online, and then there was also a time na hindi actually thrifted yung items na binibenta nyo. Maybe you guys could talk about the origins of Season Pass.
So mostly started with around 2016, 2017 nata. We were selling online stuff. Tapos it was yung during FB groups. So my friends and I decided na around 2018 na we'd make a store na for someone to somewhat experience kung ano yung ginagawa namin or binibenta namin. So we focused more on streetwear brands which are brand new. So yun yung naging namin for the past few months ng 2018, and we slowly transitioned into vintage or secondhand stuff.
How did that transition happen?
So mostly yung appreciation siguro namin na sa mga nagdadala ng damit sa amin. So I remember this na yung mga shirts na yung Mike Tyson, mga Betty Boop shirts na hindi mo naman nakikita yung mga graphics nung time na yun sa streetwear brands.
Or malls.
So it kind of resonated with me na, I like this designs na hindi available sa any market right now.
And we had this like policy where you could buy, sell, trade with us. And parang isa sa memorable moments, may taga-Bataan. Tapos they traveled all the way to Magiting, QC, just to show what they had sa inventory and sell it to us or trade some items. So that was parang
yung start nun.
Wow moment na there's a market for this or like there's a space for this na may appreciators niyan as far as Bataan.
Wow, that's actually cool. So it wasn't even parang you wanted to sell the products right away. It was more like, or I guess, organic in a way, na parang naging natural transition. How did you figure out, ano yung parang point na nasabi niyo sa sarili niyo na, may audience or may market for vintage and for thrifted clothes?
Siguro for what we do sa Season Pass, if it resonates with us or parang in a way na parang we like it. I think na we try as much as possible na market it in a way na baka hindi lang kami yung may gusto nito. So baka meron din ba? So yun yung naging namin na mostly based lahat ng namin, yung personal taste namin, inaano namin sa stores, which is Season Pass.
And opening that door a little wider for everyone, just showing na may alternative to mall brands maybe. Yeah.
How much would you say has Season Pass evolved since nag-umpisa kayo?
It changed a lot. Hindi ko din alam kung hindi kami nag-take notes basically sa kung ano yung changes na. Pero mostly siguro mas nag-focus kami on secondhand clothing talaga. And how we market ourselves na hindi lang kami store, more on we're a community na we help each other out talaga.
Parang ever since yun, it's just been a community thing. Nag-iiba lang yung focal point ng inventory siguro. Pero whatever that we enjoyed and a lot of other people in the community enjoy with us, that's what we try to put in the spotlight and like look for more people with the same interests. And yun, parang naturally lang nag-gravitate hanggang sa nag-culminate siya sa pag-organize na ng Season Pass ng bigger and bigger events.
Oh, okay. So yes, talking about the events, you guys have an upcoming event, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, like when this airs, tapos na yung event nyo.
Yeah.
But I understand this is the third time that you're doing this event. Maybe you could talk to us about the event and parang how did you come to realize that this is something that you can do, that this is something that people wanted to see?
Passion project siya nung we started it around 2019. So,
Community sale pa tawag.
community sale pa. So, wala lang, mostly tumatambay lang kami sa labas ng stores namin, nagpapakita ng anong meron kami. So, nag-resonate naman siya sa mga followers namin. May mga paminsan-minsan may pumupunta. And we did that nung around Thursday to Sunday. So, yun, it grew more, especially nung after pandemic na. And mostly yun lang. Tapos, we started yung good old days, tapos nagsunod-sunod na. So, mostly we partnered up with our longtime friend, Doug Brock. So, TMP Industries. So, nag-pitch siya sa amin na why not make something na parang bigger version of what we're doing. So, ayun, knowing na nag-gravitate naman sa mga merchants namin, sa mga friends namin na sumali, and they were down to help to parang make it a reality naman.
So, nagkaroon ng, we were already a lifestyle parang event. But we didn't have much experience in like music performances and like doing a big event at event areas talaga. Like we had our first two at Centuries and now we're doing it at Metro Tent. So we didn't have the production side to secure like any of that. So TMP Industries, they really helped out with that. And they have like a whole team that does videos and music and all that, and they do the whole lifestyle side of the event. So it upgraded the events with performances, with different activations, and yun din yung parang na-curate namin yung largest roster kasi doon namin na-accommodate. So the venue is always like one of the hurdles, but partnering up with them, we could accommodate over 100 merchants per event during good old days.
Wow,
so yeah.
100 merchants, that's no joke. 100 different stalls per merchant for sure. More than one person yung magmamanage, diba? And then so much inventory. You said that this was an upgrade to what you used to do. Maybe you could give more context. So what were the events like before you started the Good Old Days, which is the name of your
so it was
your
so it was very small nung time na yun.
So we used to host pop-ups naman sa store. So yun din parang another way that the store has evolved. Parang iba na yung nakikater niya na mas marami nang nakikater na brands imbes na parang one-off pop-ups siya. So ayun, it's showing your friends what you recently got. Maybe referring them na, uy, ako rin may ganito, baka gusto mo. Parang ganun na exchange siya. Tapos yun din, nag-clamor talaga yung mga tao for events nung after pandemic. So soon as nag-lift yung lockdown, nag-organize ng community sale na eventually naging community flea market kasi mas parang familiar yung term na yun. So ayun, that's why there are hella flea markets everywhere now. Yeah. So yun, nakakatuwa.
And this is something that you still do, diba? You didn't stop doing the flea markets. How often do you do the flea markets now?
So mostly we do it every twice a month or minsan thrice. Minsan nga every month.
Every week,
whole month na eh. Like every weekend na.
Parang,
So, yun na yung ano. Tapos, yung events naman namin, which is yung good old days, do it na
biannually.
Talaga?
At least twice a year. Pero we've only been doing it for 2 years. So, parang last year and this year. So, last year we had one. And then this year we had 2 good old days. So, yan.
So, I saw on your Instagram, you guys get a lot of influencers. Do you ever reach out or do you invite them or very organic lang yung way of them showing up?
Mostly very organic. Nang nandun lang ako, nagugulat ako, nandito siya, Tapos may-message, nandito siya, picture kayo.
Kaya nga minsan parang, kasi hindi ko alam kung like pwede ba namin sila picturean minsan. Sometimes like when you see these people, syempre you just wanna treat them like any other person, like give them like boundaries and respect, and like let them just have a normal day, ganun. Pero when customers recognize them and like when merchants, they're kind enough to take photos with them and like safe naman, so it's pretty cool.
Bumabalik pa din naman sila.
Bumabalik sila, so hindi naman off-putting, I guess. So yeah.
Do you think that vintage is just a trend or has it gone beyond being a trend at this point?
I feel like as long as there are old items, there's vintage, right? Yes. So even before we were born, I feel like there were vintage items. So maybe popularity, like it's more popular with the like mainstream right now, or parang like a bigger demographic of people. But if it's like a trend that will wane, I feel like there's always people who are gonna love vintage. But it's a matter of preference and like whether they want to involve themselves in that type of culture.
So I wanted to ask about how the flea markets work. You mentioned kasi na these are your friends, diba? But these are, these are still events. Do you hold them in rented venues? And how does that usually work? How does one join the flea market as a vendor?
So we started nung sa labas ng store namin basically. So may tambayan kami doon. So doon nag-start. So in terms of venues naman, mas madali dati. So ngayon na we grew talaga in a very large number. Na we try to find venues na magka-cater sa amin, which is yung ngayon, which is we do it sa UP Diliman ng Makati and sometimes sa La Union if ever we're So,
parang venue-based partnership. Tapos we're gonna adjust to whatever their parang requirements are. And then yung parang sustainability, I feel like, is not just an aspect of just the clothes. Ano rin siya, sa part ng process. So, what we try to do sa merchants na part ng roster is fair lang siya. So, parang commensurate na commissions and utility fee that cover it. So, we try to be as transparent then as possible with them just to have that relationship na honest lang. I feel like that's also what's gotten Season Pass to have like this network kasi there's this trust with each other and within the network na on this scale pwede tayong mag-organize and magsama-sama and everyone has an opportunity na mag-flourish. So yeah.
I think that's such a bold decision to make because usually diba pag events you have like a blanket rate for your vendors and these are sometimes expensive, but in your case it's commensurate, which I guess what I'm trying to say is very considerate for other vendors. What I wanted to ask next, since you mentioned sustainability, is how sustainable is your business for you guys? Because this is someone who wants to go into reselling vintage clothing wants to know, diba? Is it possible to make a living out of this? So how has it been for you guys, like profit-wise?
Profit-wise, it works naman, especially during our events naman din. Pero, siguro our main mission is lang somewhat give people the options sa wardrobes nila na hindi lang laging brand new dapat yung you have to appreciate what yung mga nagawa ng mga dating creatives. So, mostly yun yung namin. Yung sa akin, yung reason ko about doing vintage and stuff.
Personally, I think it's like paving that way that introduces this as something that can be bigger and hopefully growing the market, making things more circular on the fashion side of it without having to produce with new textiles or parang, syempre, fast fashion has labor issues, trying to address stuff like that. So, meron din kasing, kunwari, art upcycling brands that do this. So, that's a more creative and I think more sustainable way of creating clothes. And, ayun, parang, di ko alam, we need a little fairness in this world sometimes. Ganon. It's nice. Ganon. And is there ethical consumption under capitalism? I don't know. Pero we do what we can, di ba? Parang there's still the economics of things. And yung reality naman ng situation natin is may bad times and may good times. So we don't have enough to live lavishly, pero we have enough to keep the lights on and parang to support the network of like people that we have. So it's like looking out for each other kasi we also know what these merchants went through in their lives. Parang naging personal na rin yung relationship kasi sa haba ng panahon na we've been organizing and doing events together. So, ayun.
So many like nuanced topics that you just touched right now. No, that's great. Kasi I like how you mentioned the circularity ng supply chain, di ba? Especially with fast fashion, because it's a huge concern. Fast fashion is one of the biggest contributors to pollution in the ocean, for example. And yun nga, marami ding ethical issues kasi there are labor conditions that aren't as ideal. And you opened up this discussion about how sustainable revisiting old clothes can be. Do you think that by supporting thrifted items, vintage items, do you think that this is a possible, say, solution to that problem?
It's definitely not a solution, but it's a way. Like, it's a small step maybe on an individual scale. I feel like a lot of environmental issues we have are systemic. So, parang we're just a blip in this world's parang environmental problems. Pero, Lian, what else do you have? I agree. I don't discredit it. Parang, it's a good alternative, I feel.
One small step at a time.
Mismo, on that scale. It's people doing what they can. But it's not the end-all, be-all na we're trying to convert everyone to do this, right? Hindi rin ganun eh. We also understand that we have a certain niche, we have a certain market that it appeals to. So parang mas, lang siya, open door nga lang na para siya sa mga interested doon. Tapos maybe that can lead us to a rabbit hole of something better. Ganon.
It's like a discussion on reuse. I really like that. Parang, hey, it's not so bad to reuse things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. There's also a question on pricing. So, you know, when you say ukay, people expect these would be like very floor prices. You see, when you go to an ukay-ukay, diba, you see 50 pesos, you see 100 pesos. How much are you able to price your items? And ano yung parang reasoning behind why you're able to price your items in such a way?
So mostly we compare it sa market price talaga sa labas. Pero knowing na we don't usually get our items from ukay talaga, we get it from the people na napaglumaan yung mga damit nila at sa mga taong nag-uukay din. So mostly we help them out. So parang ecosystem lang na nagtutulungan na kami in terms of ikaw nag-ukay, ikaw nakakuha nito. Pero knowing na yung prices din kasi sa ukay is very different from before. So medyo kung ano yung nakikita mo ngayon, hindi yun yung mostly nakukuha ng mga tao na nasa market namin. Medyo nalaman na rin ng mga nag-ukay, yung mga ukayan na yung prices nito is ito yung mga sought after pieces, so they price it up. Yan yung medyo di na alam ng mga tao kasi nga wala namang natitira na afterwards kasi yung nakikita niyo sa mga videos na nagtatakbuhan yung mga sellers sa ukayan. So mostly very price different talaga yung mga gamit nila.
I feel like the internet really plays a huge factor, and you see these ukay places with Facebook pages now. So, ayun.
So mostly updated na sila sa price list.
How much do you sell your pieces in season pass?
So it varies talaga. So usually our stuff starts from yung mga t-shirts namin around 500 pesos and up. Tapos we have accessories around less than 200. So there's everything for everyone naman talaga. It really depends kung sino yung pumupunta sa amin na if ever they know something about this piece and stuff. So, yun dun talaga nagpa-vary in terms of pricing.
What they're looking for, it's sort of like a mini adventure siguro, going to season passes. Parang sometimes people go in there not knowing what they like and leaving parang, yun na yung reference ko for the future na hahanapin ko, ganon.
How much yung pinaka, if you don't mind me asking, ano yung pinakamahal na piece of clothing that you guys have sold?
It wasn't ours, pero nung time na siguro kami, nagla-live auction ng pandemic, a shirt was sold around like 6 digits ata.
6 digits? What shirt was this?
It was a Bjork shirt ng time na yun.
Yeah, Bjork.
Was it a highly collectible item?
Yeah, it was nung time na yun.
So during the pandemic, Season Pass would host these live auctions and wala siyang, walang face-to-face. So that's how we connected with people online. So main host si Lian and ayun, nagbe-bidding basically yung people. That's why it ended up sa 6 digits.
Grabe.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Grabe. And this transaction pushed through. Like someone actually, wow.
So we knew nung buyer nung time na yun.
Yeah.
How much was the starting bid?
It started at piso.
No way!
Yeah.
So mostly we tried to nung time na yun. It creates excitement.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
There's a
that's
bit of
so
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
Piso to 6 digits?
Yeah.
How long was that bidding process?
So mostly we gave it around per auction piece was around 15 to 20 minutes pero tumagal siya ng 40 minutes ata.
Oh my gosh.
The bids wouldn't end.
And hindi lang local yung nanonood nun, it was international talaga. We had around like 500, 600 viewers sa live auctions so time na yun.
Was it a Filipino who bought it?
Yeah.
It was. Wow. Amazing. But it just goes to show like some pieces do, they hold so much value, diba? And I guess kasi it's a very personal decision. So whether you like it or not, it's I guess kind of like art in a way. It's very subjective.
Yeah.
And it depends din siguro if like it's limited edition.
Yeah.
Yung the collector din talaga.
So mostly yun, it's a collectible din talaga. It's in a different canvas lang siguro.
Yeah.
Coming up, we ask our guests how they source their pieces and how they curate and authenticate each one. So you said na kayo mismo, you don't necessarily go to the ukay-ukay na.
Well, he does.
I do. Pero I don't do like the yung bardagulan type. Hindi. Ano lang. Sa mundane days ako. Yeah. When it's just me and like not a lot of people around.
You can enjoy your time.
Yeah.
Take your time and like shop around. How do you go about acquiring your products? And then ano yung process of curation nyo?
Okay.
Sa akin personally, I ukay with my girlfriend. So we would try outfits together. Tapos doon namin inisip na, I definitely see this on a person, someone styling it this way, ganun. So very appreciative kami ng iba't iba ng genre and category. And yun nga yung season pass, like aside from vintage and streetwear, nag-branch out na rin siya sa women's wear, sa accessories, lifestyle items, even furniture nga parang yung mga ukay rin kasi na Japan stores, right? And they're very interesting. So yun, that's how we curate. Okay.
So mostly it breaks down yung mga interests namin, hobbies. Siguro yung appreciation ng creativity ng time na yun.
True.
So kung ano yung nagre-resonate sa amin or something na we're in awe of, nang yun yung basis namin in acquiring stuff.
There are certain things about vintage and thrift that people kind of assume. One of them is that vintage is built more durable. Is that something that you find true?
Well, I think it is. In terms of quality back then, it's very different from now. Kasi hindi ko rin alam kung bakit. Siguro yung cost ng time na yun is very different from today. And yung quality was yung top priority in terms of sa paggawa nila ng mga damit. So I think that ito suit ko. It's from the 90s, so it still holds up. So para sa akin, yun lang.
I think it depends on the items. Definitely shirts and mga workwear, they're very well built dati. Ngayon parang feel ko naging formulaic process na siya somehow.
More of quantity na kasi rather than quality.
Yeah. So yun. Pero yun nga, parang nakadepende pa rin kung trip siya nung like customer or something. So ayun.
I can't believe that shirt is from the 90s. Like, yung collar niya looks fine.
Yeah.
The sleeves
No
look
bacon.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kasi diba some clothes ngayon, if you buy them from the mall, after a few washes, bacon na.
Ayun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, wala lang. Amazing.
Old-
Another generalization people have is that when you buy vintage, you're buying a dead person's clothing.
Well,
What do you think of that?
Well, it's true naman.
Yeah,
Ano
probably
naman.
true, right?
So, there's a running joke lagi sa mga nag-uukay na damit ng patay, mga ganun.
Yeah.
So, wala, it's true. We can't, ano naman.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, I'm comfortable with it, ganun.
Thank you na lang sa kanila.
Yeah. I hope
Passing
they're
it down.
RIP, right?
Some people have, I guess, a reservation when it comes to supporting maybe thrifted items, especially when they're priced more expensively. Because it feels like, in a way, na you're taking opportunity away from someone who is less fortunate. What do you think of that statement?
Well, I think na it's a misunderstanding na siguro. It's like, na hindi naman misunderstanding, parang in a way na yung perception
Misconception.
siguro ng tao is very different from ours siguro. Kaya medyo may misunderstanding na nangyayari. I can't speak for the people na nag-ukay talaga kasi I don't do it talaga naman na. Pero knowing na sa stories na narinig ko, they only get 10 to 20% of the items na nasa ukay. So I think na there's a lot more na available naman din sa tao. Pero again, it's not my experience to ano naman.
I mean, if we're talking about the base function of clothes na masusuot lang siya, I feel like yung mga nawawala lang is yung mga branded or like they have a certain history to them. But in terms of like clothes mismo, there's still an abundance, a surplus of clothes that's left. And yun, I feel like that's still accessible. So yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask din about the support that people give you. You mentioned na you were able to sell a 6-digit shirt that's a collectible. How about like for other pieces? I've seen kasi some thrift stores, yung prices nila go up as high as 5K, for example, for a knitted sweater. What do you think is like the justification for such a price? And obviously, like people buy kasi they're able to sell these items at that price, diba?
Well, I guess I can't speak for them. Kasi it's up to them naman talaga. It's how they value their stuff naman talaga. It's either baka may story behind it or something. So it's up to them naman talaga na how to price stuff. So we're just here na di ko din alam kung paano nila nabavalue.
Maybe circling back on like the subjectivity aspect of it, there's that. And then there's also international market prices that they tend to compare it to. And it's also maybe a mix of like the audience that they get to cater and maybe they're within that economic range that can afford that. So that's why I think, I think at Season Pass, it's like a bit different since there's such a variety of these different items. Maybe you can see the same shirt. It's valued at 500 here, but 1.5 the next merchant. It can be, the difference can be that stark. But yeah, it's a matter of like finding the like people you wanna get from. Yeah, I feel like that's how they build the relationships as well. So, and people can negotiate at flea markets. Like in the mall, like everything is retail. So at flea markets, at Season Pass store, like may bawas pa ba to? Pwede, di ba?
So mostly like conversation.
Yeah, so it's a matter of that din naman. So yun.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. You can negotiate naman. Yeah. And yun nga, like it's very personality driven, I guess, yung value of a certain object.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask about how you authenticate items. Is there like an authentication process that things go through?
Yeah, mostly the basics would be yung tag, the stitching of the shirts, mostly the quality of the print, and mostly in fabric then. Pero knowing na there's a lot of fakes coming in, so mostly we don't na kung ano yung siguro there's a specific person na focuses on this kind of genre. So we try to help out each other na, oh, if ever you're into music, ako hindi. Can you help me out ng authenticate this stuff? So mostly may mga ganyan kasi. So it's a community talaga na nagtutulungan in order to
You call a
authenticate
person.
stuff, oh.
Or sa Pawn Stars. Like, let me
Call an expert.
Ganun.
No, but that's nice. At least like there is an actual authentication process. Diba?
And like those people, parang experiential activity siya eh. So parang they pass on that knowledge as well to whoever is asking them for authentication. And then they've also had that process na maybe they were a beginner once. So parang kami very aware lang na yun talaga siya. It's a process.
Why the interest in fashion specifically? What does fashion to you guys personally, I guess, represent? Or what makes it so fun for you?
Well, mostly sa akin is na yung appreciation talaga ng creativity ng dati. Kasi it gets reference pa din hanggang ngayon, especially sa mga streetwear brands like Supreme and stuff, where they get ideas from the past talaga and parang recreated in the present. Pero sa akin, mostly yun yung main reason why I like vintage and stuff.
Sa akin, I feel like it's self-descriptive of your influences or your interests in life. Tapos, it's the only mark you get to leave on a stranger, kunwari. Like, passing by them. Mayroon ako medyong romanticized na gano'n. Parang, it's the only thing someone can remember from you if you don't even talk to them. Parang, the way one looks, gano'n, di ba?
So
parang lupit sa Harajuku or like places where they really like have that expression. So, parang, feel like we can also have that landscape somehow.
In the Philippines, I feel like pag medyo fashionista ka and then people say na, fashionista ka, it's not always met with such optimism and romanticism. Some people would call you, feeling naman. Have you ever gone through that?
Yeah, mainit sa Pinas.
Yeah. Mostly mga
You can't layer in the Philippines, yeah.
Pero I think it's much lesser ngayon kasi compared dati. Yung like,
mas open na ngayon.
I think people are mas open ngayon compared sa dati talaga.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I feel like hindi naman discriminate, pero parang medyo judgmental.
So yung meme-based na.
Parang like, you're doing too much. Parang gano'n. Maybe it's descriptive of our environment. Ganun. Pero ako, I hope for parang places where I'm open to express myself how I want through my clothes. And I feel like Season Pass provides
we try to emulate them sa school.
May mga meme nga online na parang maginhawa tuwing may Flea Markets sa Season Pass. Tapos parang fashion runway. So that's pretty nice. I mean, I'm for it. Diba? I like that.
Yeah, like people laugh at it, but actually, you know what? Hey, we're having fun.
Yeah. Wala naman, as long as like we're not doing harm. Ganun.
Exactly.
Be you talaga.
You, yeah. Diba? As you can be. Diba?
So how would you guys describe your personal styles?
Ako siguro casual. Very relaxed lang. I'm not the most fashionable guy.
Okay.
There you go.
Something, clothes I'm comfortable in. Ganun. Referential to my like interests in life. Siguro yun.
What was your, I guess, favorite piece that you've come across?
Wala na siya sa amin eh. Siguro yung astronaut jacket na napunta sa amin noong 2018.
It was a Polo Ralph Lauren astronaut jacket.
Bakit yun yung favorite?
Wala, it was our first na item na was considered a grail talaga. So it was a very sought after piece nung time na yun. And a random guy na pumunta lang sa store na, I got this from Baguio for ganito. And parang 500 pesos ata. Tapos trinade in niya for Travis Scott na J4.
Which was worth,
around 25K. So, yeah. So, nakakatuwa kasi you never expect pieces na ganun.
Yeah. What did it look like, the jacket?
Drake
wore it in a music video, parang ganun.
Kay Black Boy.
Jacket,
yung kay Black Boy. Basta
it's like a white puffer jacket. When you wore it, you kind of look like
an
that
astronaut.
And that guy from like Michelin Man. You kind of look like Michelin Man when you wore it. Like it had these red blue accents around the logo. And just made you look like a big marshmallow. So yeah.
Ni-issue nila yun ng time na yun ng RL eh. So wala.
Yeah, so it's not so may modern version na siya. So yun nakuha namin on vintage. version.
Oh, even cooler. That's even cooler.
Yeah.
How about you? What is your favorite piece?
Ako, current favorite piece ko, I'm wearing them. I thrifted these. I rarely get to thrift sneakers kasi I don't know how to legit check. But I was with Carlo Aragon, a friend of ours, and he knows something about shoes. So he was like, no, these are legit. And then, so yeah, it's still kind of expensive, pero okay naman siya. Yeah.
Please describe the sneakers.
I'm wearing like Ambush X collaborated with Nike. That's their Ambush is like a Japanese brand. That was they're like slip-ons with zippers and stuff. So yeah. So ayun, they're all white Nikes. They're made of this like nylon-like material. It's made from like the Air Max 180 base, and they like upgraded the silhouette. Like I haven't seen any other pair or Air Max 180 like that. So yeah,
how much did you get it?
I got it for like 1.8. So parang that's still
yung prices though.
Still
But like
expensive,
still, I mean, it's
honestly.
shoes, and obviously there's been so much work done for the shoe itself and the design.
Pero this was like at the Ukay price. It was new arrival. So but shoes in Ukay, they usually cost like 500 right? So these were expensive. So by Ukay standards. I can imagine 1.8 at like flea market prices, pero 1.8 at Ukay, I was outraged. Pero at the same time, parang, can't knock your hustle. I guess you guys know what this is worth.
Well updated as well.
Yeah. Tapos parang tinignan ko for reference yung market prices. So parang 4K siya, secondhand. Ganun. So parang okay na rin. That's still a deal, I guess. Ganun.
Which is, I guess, goes to show na even yung mga conventional ukay sellers themselves, they know na these things have value. Yeah. That's amazing. Obviously, you're comfortable buying secondhand shoes, but like, how do you, make sure that they're clean, they're good to wear?
Ako nilalaban ko muna. So, pagkatapos laban, I do like those YouTube tutorials where you clean them. So, ayun, as much as possible. Disinfect it. Nag-ano rin. Like, I go extra mile with Lysol then, so parang anything that like bombards it with like those kills 99.9%. Like, I'm all for that. Yeah.
Mostly same lang din sa kanya. Siguro pag tinamad ako kasi pamalinis ko na lang sa Pero mostly, nang wala naman problema sa I'm all for it na second hand.
Di pa naman ako nagkakaalipong.
Same.
Yeah, same pa naman.
Any tips for someone who wants to enter the same kind of business as you guys that you'd want to share?
Siguro easiest way is na focus on things na parang interest you and what piques your talaga. So it's easier transition or parang you get more excited with doing it.
Or less pressure, something that you like. I know it's cliche, di ba? Pero find something that you love.
But it's easier.
It's easier a bit, yeah. And ayun, just keep going, I guess. Parang don't like be shy to reach out to communities. I mean, there's definitely networks there. Message nyo kami. So yun.
Collaboration.
Yeah. Or apply to be part of the flea market. You can definitely do that. So ayun. Everyone is welcome kasi sa season pass. So, it's easy to become a merchant. We try to like remove the hurdles. There's just the curations aspect of it and like the trust and like the everything that goes into partnering up with us. So yun, yeah. If you guys are looking to, start this, participate. Good old days 4, maybe.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Sorry, last question. Where can people find you and how can people join your events, whether as sellers or attendees?
So mostly, just follow us on Instagram. Nandun naman lahat na updates namin and siguro yung registration naman for be a merchant.
Yeah,
just message us anytime kung may mga tanong kayo. Medyo matagal na kami mag-reply ng onte.
Medyo maraming
messages. Pero we'll try to get
we'll get to you eventually. Yeah. At Season Pass PH. Yeah. On Instagram. Yeah. You can visit our store as well.
Mas madali pag store.
At 63 Maginhawa Street, Teachers Village. And we're open Thursdays to Sundays. Yeah. So yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, Lian Red, for coming.
Hell yeah.
And that was Teach Me Senpai. I'm Julian Serenio. Thank you guys for watching.